Christians. I look at it as a condition because a lot of people look at it when we love the Lord the way that we do, and we give up so much, and we sacrifice our lives, and we just give it all. People look at us like, man, we're weird. They look at us like we're funny. And so this piece is kind of a reflection of that, and just also the process of just giving everything to Him is a reflection of us dying to ourselves and us living for Him. This piece is called The Symptoms. And sometimes we go to the doctor and we get our physicals, and they check and see if we're all good and check our everything's. So this piece is kind of like a spiritual to check. There's certain things that you should be exemplifying as Christians, and hopefully we talk on and touch on some of those things with this piece. I've been diagnosed with this condition, and it's so severe that sinners can't make contact without contracting some type of conviction. Shh, listen. I know I'm not tripping, but ever since I repented, it's like I became schizophrenic. I started hearing this voice, this voice, and I know that sounds crazy. It tells me to commit suicide, so I die daily. It's not easy. Because I don't even know how long this thermometer's been resting under my tongue, but man, I swear, this bright white light within loves to unclothe and penetrate the darkest atmospheres, and only God knew the task He would assign us had pressure, but actually it was His raw passion that activated my allergies till eventually I sneezed praise and God bless me. See, when I was healthy in sin, I thought I was Superman. Even though I knew God could read between the lines in my paper-thin mind, the extent of this thing had me paralyzed. See, when you stop feeling yourself, pretty soon you'll see that you stop masturbating with life. That's how I stopped doing me. And I began to do God's will. Even though it took away my ability to walk in darkness occasionally, I'm sure my soul's relieved of carrying the weight of me. See, God's allowed me to navigate this life with a blue handicap sign on my rear view for two reasons. One, because every time I look back, I acknowledge my weakness. And two, because it was hung up, I believe that I was given the privilege of walking closer to the entrance of His kingdom. See, it wasn't until now that I was ever able to understand the value of being fed through a tube. Until I realized that I only consume the essential nutrients for survival without the additives. It might not be what I prefer, but it's exactly what I need. His words have become my meat, so I eat till His presence becomes so obese that I can no longer see defeat. I must remind you, they told me that the day I would get saved will be the day that pigs fly, and then I caught swine flu, so it's whatever. God reigns even in the midst of the storm, so it makes sense why I'm always under the weather, and I'm not getting better, because after chilling with the coolest creator, it's like I developed pneumonia. He's so omniscient, He knew this world would be crazy, so He made it bipolar. That's why my love for Him declares war against sin. I said my love for Him declares war against sin. I mean literally. My cardiac is armed and strapped. You think terrorists are bad, you've never seen a heart attack. And when I learned that my obedience to scriptures was sin's answer, I stopped being ashamed of this skin cancer, because why wouldn't my flesh be destroyed with so much exposure to the sun? And I'm not done. You see, this osteoporosis got my spine curving, so I bow in reverence of Christ's holy name. See, on earth, He taught me to carry my cross just so I could fathom joint pain. See, if I must glory, I do so in my infirmities. See, my very existence is bedridden on the grace of God. Without Him, how could I breathe? He's my living oxygen machine. And these prayers, these IVs, They've connected me to the source, and it's funny how much more important eternity has become now that I'm living on life support. See the significance of me living as if I incurred a terminal sickness is that it guarantees me consistent visits and extensive attention from the physician. I guess it's no wonder why I'm dying to be the sickest, for whosoever will save his life will lose it. But whosoever will lose his life for the sake of Christ will find it. Therefore, if the world calls this ill, then I don't want a vaccination. But if I could, I would reproduce with every oxygen atom, making this disease airborne just to infect the nations. And yes, he was bruised for our iniquities, and by his stripes we were healed, which only means he was whipped so that we wouldn't be sick from, but he died so that we would be sick of. I said he was whipped so that we wouldn't be sick from, but he died so that we would be sick of. Sick of the lust that nurses our infidelity and the pride that doctors our false identity. Sick of every transgression prescribed by hell, which helps us to recover ourselves with the veil of sin until we feel well in iniquity. And no, I am not promoting physical illness. But if our reasonable service is to live as a sacrifice, then I will rather live as if I am before death, than regret where I spend my afterlife. So if you're ever tested and the results come back positive that you're a Christian, then answer this question honestly. What exactly are your symptoms?